Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm really excited to do our sink or float activity with some 3D shapes. So if you want to try this at home, you need a bucket. You need to put some water in your bucket, almost to the top, little above halfway through. And you need to go find some objects in your house that are or look like the 3D shapes we've been talking about. So Miss Katie wants to go through what I found at my house. So here's rectangular prism. Miss Katie found a block that is the shape of rectangular prism. So it's got a square on that side and a square on that side and rectangles, shapes all around. So this is a rectangular prism. For a sphere, I found a ball, a tennis ball. See, just found a tennis ball for the sphere. And for a pyramid, I found a block. So this is what we would use when we're building at school, or if you build at home and you have some of these shapes, maybe you make a house with it. So here's my pyramid. I found another block we can use. This one has an elephant on it and a lion, but it's a cube. Okay, so I found a cube-shaped block we'll use. And for a cylinder, we're going to use a marker. So a marker is shaped like a cylinder. It's got a circle at the bottom, and then a long body. And I found a plastic ice cream cone shaped like a cone. All right, so these are the items we're going to use. And remember, we're going to put each item into the water one at a time. And I have my chart here, and we'll fill out the chart as we go. So if something sinks, it goes all the way to the bottom of the bucket. And if it floats, it stays at the top. Okay, so I have my chart, and if we were together at school, we would make predictions, which means we would think about if each object or each 3D shape would sink or float. We would think about that before we start our project, and then we would see if we were right. You can do that at home with your parents. We're not going to make predictions right now, but we are going to see what happens to each item. So first, let's start with our cube. So we're going to start with our cube, our block. All right, what do you think? Do you think it'll sink or float? All right, here we go. Oh, do you see that? Can you see that? The cube or the block, this block is floating. So it's not touching the bottom, my finger's at the bottom. It's kind of floating up on top. So Miss Katie's going to write down that our block floats. So our block floats. All right. Okay, let's do the next one. Let's do our ball, which is shaped like the sphere. All right, what do you think? Do you think it'll sink or float? Here we go. Our ball floats. Look at that. The ball is floating. The ball is floating. All right, did you guess that one right? All right, let's see. The next one we're going to do is our long rectangular block, our rectangular prism. Okay, like kind of shaped like a building. All right, what do you think? Will it sink or float? Here we go. It floats. I thought it was going to sink. Miss Katie was wrong there. All right. Our rectangular prism block floats. Okay, next, let's do our pyramid. Here's our pyramid. Let's see if it sinks or floats. You ready?
Can I do it?
Sure. Gonna put it in the bucket? All right, Aurora's gonna help us. Put it in. Oh, and our pyramid block floats.
Okay, I'm gonna get
our pyramid block is floating. Miss Katie's just writing this all down on our chart. So our pyramid block is floating. All right, next we're going to do our cylinder. So remember we said we were going to use a marker for the cylinder. All right, you ready, Aurora?
Yes.
What do you think at home? Do you think it'll sink or float? All right, what do you think, Aurora? Do you think it'll sink or float?
Sink.
All right, Aurora thinks the marker is going to sink. Here we go.
My marker?
Drop it. Did it sink or is it floating?
It's floating.
It's floating. Look, it's floating all around there. So our marker floats too.
Okay, I'm gonna do it all the
All right, let's take that out. We have one more to do. And remember, I have this plastic ice cream cone. And that's just like our cone. Our picture cone's getting wet. So let's see. Our cone here, if it's going to sink or float. Are you ready? Here you go. Drop it in.
It floats. But
It is floating.
When I put it in, it
still floats.
But
So our cone shaped.
What is inside?
Yep, our cone shaped plastic cone. Put it back in. It floats. And Aurora tried to put water in it to see if it will sink, but it still floats even when the water's in it. So that was an extra cool experiment there.
But this time when you're done, can I
All right.
play with it?
You can, yes. All right, friends. You can try this at home. Maybe you have different things that you can find in your house that are just like our shapes. But let's review, okay? So we had 0 shapes or objects that sink. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objects that float in the water. So we had more objects that float and 0 that sink. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this fun project, science experiment, and try it at home because it is very fun. And now Aurora's going to get super wet. So make sure you have towels around. All right,
Yes.
bye-bye.